Hello everybody, welcome to JURISCentral.com online classes for law exams. So today I will be discussing with you a very important act which is known as the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act for your upcoming UPSC Public Prosecutor exam. So before starting this session, let me tell you that this is a very small act in which there are a total number of, let me tell you, 6 sections and section 7 being repeated. So we will be dealing with you the entire sections of this act in a very concise way. So let us start. So first of all, let me tell you the act came into force on 19th of November 1946. I have highlighted the important points. So let us read the objective of the act. An act to make provision for the constitution of a special police force in Delhi for the investigation of certain offences in the union territories, for the superintendence and administration of the said force, and for the extension to other areas of the powers and jurisdiction of members of the said force in regard to the investigation of the said offences. So this act is basically made for the constitution of a special police force in Delhi for the investigation of certain offences, and also this act also provides for the superintendence and administration of the said force. Then we'll start with the short title and extent. This act may be called the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946, and this one is important. It extends to the whole of India. Then second comes Constitution and powers of special police establishment. This is section 2. So let us read. Notwithstanding anything in the Police Act 1861, the central government may constitute a special police force to be called the Delhi Special Police Establishment for the investigation in any union territory of offences notified under section 3. So it actually confers the power on the central government to constitute the force called Delhi Special Police Establishment, and also subject to any orders which the central government may make in this behalf, members of the said police establishment shall have throughout in relation to the investigation of such offences and arrest of person concerned in such offences all the powers, duties, privileges and liabilities which police officers of that union territory have in connection with the investigation of offences committed therein. So by this act, it also empowers the police to have all the powers, duties, privileges, liabilities for making investigation or arresting any person. Then clause 3, any member of the said police establishment of or above the rank of sub-inspector may, subject to any orders which the central government may make in this behalf, exercise in any union territory any of the powers of the officer in charge of a police station in the area in which he is for the time being, and when so exercising such powers and subject to any such orders as aforesaid be deemed to be an officer in charge of a police station discharging functions of such an officer within the limits of his station. So it actually says that to become officer in charge of a police station, that member of the Delhi Special Police Establishment should be of the rank above sub-inspector. Then section 3, offences to be investigated by special police establishment. The central government may by notification in the official gazette specify the offences or class of offences which are to be investigated by the Delhi Special Police Establishment. So again, central government has given the power to notify the offences or the classes of offences which is to be investigated by the Delhi police. Then section 4, superintendence and administration of Delhi Special Police Establishment. The superintendence of the Delhi Special Police Establishment, insofar as it relates to the commission of offences alleged to have been committed under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, shall vest in the commission. So it says that suppose if the Delhi police is conducting any investigation relating to the offence which comes under Prevention of Corruption Act, then in that case the superintendence of the same shall vest in the powers of the commission. Commission here means Central Vigilance Commission. So for Central Vigilance Commission has a separate act. Save as otherwise provided in subsection 1, the superintendence of the said police establishment in all other matters shall vest in the central government. So except the investigation relating to the offences which comes under Prevention of Corruption Act, all other offences the superintendence of the same shall be vested in the hands of the central government. Then clause 3, the administration of the said police establishment shall vest in an officer appointed in this behalf by the central government, hereinafter to as the director, who shall exercise in respect of that police establishment such of the powers exercisable by an inspector general of police. So here the administration of the said police, the central government has a power to appoint a director, and who shall have the same power as the Inspector General of Police in a state has. Then section 4A, Committee for Appointment of Director. So now we will be dealing with you how the director of the Delhi Special Police Establishment is actually selected. The central government shall appoint the director on the recommendation of the committee consisting of the Prime Minister, who shall be its chairman, the leader of opposition recognized as such in the House of the People, or where there is no such leader of opposition, then the leader of the single largest opposition party in that house, who shall be its member, and the Chief Justice of India or the Judge of the Supreme Court nominated by him will be its member. So actually there are two members and one chairperson. So that committee will be consisting of these persons only, and who shall appoint the director of the Delhi Special Police Establishment. No appointment of a director shall be invalid merely by reason of any vacancy or absence of a member in the committee. Suppose if the given member, if one of them remains absent, then that won't become a situation of invalidating the appointment of the director. Then clause 3, the committee shall recommend a panel of officers. How? So the clause 3 speaks about the eligibility, the qualification of the director. So it shall be recommend a panel of officers on the basis of seniority, integrity and experience in the investigation of anti-corruption cases, and it has to be chosen from amongst officers belonging to the Indian Police Service constituted under the All India Services Act for being considered for appointment of director. Then section 4B, terms and conditions of service of director. The director shall, notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in the rules relating to his conditions of service, continue to hold office for a period of not less than 2 years from the date on which he assumes office. So section 4B deals with the tenure of the service of director, and it says that he shall hold the office for not less than 2 years from the date on which he assumes office, that means from the date on which he enters the office. Then clause 2 says the director shall not be transferred except with the previous consent of the committee referred to in subsection 1 of section 4A. Then we will be dealing with section 4BA. There is section 4B, not 4BA, and it deals with director of prosecution. There shall be a director of prosecution headed by a director who shall be an officer not below the rank of a joint secretary to the Government of India for conducting prosecution of cases under this act. So it says that there has to be a director of prosecution, and the director shall not be below the rank of a joint secretary to the Government of India, and his duty shall be primarily to conduct the prosecution of cases under this act. Then the central government shall appoint the Directorate of Prosecution on the recommendation of the Central Vigilance Commission. So in this case, Central Vigilance Commission will recommend for who should be appointed as director. The Director of Prosecution shall, notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in the rules relating to the conditions of service continue to hold office for not less than 2 years from the date on which he assumes office. Again the same thing. Here also the director will assume office shall hold the office for not less than 2 years from the date on which he enters the office. Then section 4C deals with appointment for post of superintendent of police and above, extension and curtailment of their tenure, etc. So section 4C deals with the appointment of the superintendents of police. The central government shall appoint officers to the post of the level of superintendent of police and above except director, and also recommend the extension or curtailment of the tenure of such officers in the Delhi police establishment on the recommendation of a committee consisting of. So this section actually says that the superintendent of police has to be a director of Delhi Police Establishment Act, and the superintendents of police has a major difference, and for the selection of the same there has to be a committee, and on the recommendation of the committee only this SP of a state shall be appointed, and the committee shall be consisting of the Central Vigilance Commissioner as its chairperson, the Vigilance Commissioners as its members, Secretary to the Government of India in charge of the Ministry of Home shall be its members, and Secretary to the Government of India in charge of the Department of Personnel shall be its members. So that means there is a 4-member committee. Then section 5, which deals with extension of powers and jurisdiction of special police establishment to other areas. The central government may by order extend to any area including railway areas, the state not being a union territory, the powers and jurisdiction of members of the Delhi Special Police Establishment for investigation of any offences or class of offences specified in a notification under section 3. So it actually says that only the central government has the power to extend the investigating powers of the Delhi Special Police Establishment to any state, even to the areas which belongs to railways. When by an order under subsection 1 the powers and jurisdiction of members of the said police establishment are extended to any such area, a member thereof may subject to any orders which the central government may make in this behalf, discharge the functions of a police officer in that area, and shall while so discharging such functions be deemed to be a member of the police officer or police force of that area. That means that when a member of the Delhi Special Police Establishment is investigating in another state which is not a union territory, then he shall be considered the member of the police force of that state. Then subsection 3, where any such order under subsection 1 is made relation to any area, then without prejudice to the provisions of subsection 2, any member of the Delhi Special Police Establishment of or above the rank of sub-inspector may, subject to any orders which the central government may make in this behalf, exercise the powers of the officer in charge of a police station in that area, when so exercising such power shall be deemed to be an officer in charge of a police station. So it actually says that while discharging such duties as an investigation officer, the member of the Delhi Special Police Establishment above the rank of sub-inspector can, with the orders of the central government, can also act as the officer in charge of a police station of that area in which he is making any investigation. Then section 6, consent of state government to exercise of powers and jurisdiction. Nothing contained in section 5 shall be deemed to enable any member of Delhi Special Police Establishment to exercise powers and jurisdiction in any area in a state not being a union territory or railway area without the consent of the government of the state. So it is mandatory. So in case if a member of the Delhi Special Police Establishment is actually making any investigation in a jurisdiction which is not a union territory or railway area, then only he can do so with the consent of the government of that state. 6A. Approval of central government to conduct enquiry and investigation. The Delhi Special Police Establishment shall not conduct any enquiry or investigation into any offence alleged to have been committed under the Prevention of Corruption Act except with the previous approval of the central government where such allegation relates to. Now this is important. So section 6A says that a member of the Delhi Special Police Establishment shall not conduct any inquiry or investigation pertaining to the offences which falls under the Prevention of Corruption Act without previous approval of the central government if such allegations is against subsection clause A, the employees of the central government of the level of joint secretary and above. Clause B, such officers as are appointed by the central government in corporation established by or under any central act, government companies, societies and local authorities owned or controlled by that government. And subsection 2 is actually a notwithstanding clause, and it says notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1, no such approval shall be necessary for cases involving arrest of a person on the spot on the charge of accepting or attempting to accept any gratification other than legal remuneration referred to in clause C of the explanation to section 7 of the Prevention of Corruption Act. So it actually creates an exception. It says that suppose if the member of the Delhi Special Police Establishment doesn't need any such approval prior of making any arrest, if that person is caught on the spot on the charges of accepting or attempting to accept any gratification which is other than legal remuneration, that means which is not a legal remuneration as defined under clause C of the explanation to section 7 of the Prevention and Corruption Act. And for section 7, let me give you this information that it is already repealed by the Repealing and Amendment Act 1950, Schedule 2 and Schedule 1. So this is your session for today, in which I have discussed the entire section of the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. This is your syllabus for this UPSC Public Prosecutor exam, and I hope you all have liked it. In case if you have any doubts, queries, you can write the same in the comment section below. So with this note, I am signing off. Have a great day.